My name is David Booth. I'm the founder and CEO of Combat Veterans to Careers. I'm a retired Master Sergeant. I did 20 years in the Army. In September of '06, my vehicle hit a roadside bomb in Kirkuk, Iraq. I was blown up, my gunner was killed, my driver was killed. I broke my neck in 3 places from the roadside bomb. I went through 5 cervical surgeries, a traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress, lots of medication, was in a really dark place. When I got out of the military, I couldn't figure out what was next for me. I struggled dealing with my own issues. I came to Florida and I said, what am I going to do next? As a senior non-commissioned officer in the Army, I enjoy helping my soldiers, so I started Combat Veterans to Careers. Combat Veterans to Careers provides 360 degrees of support for our veterans and their families. What that is when they transition out of the military, it's helping them with anything and everything. With our programs, what we do is we provide a plan, and then we help them walk that plan. We create, whether it's finding a home, or VA assistance, or any transitional assistance coming back from military into civilian life. The other thing is it's not just about the veteran, it's about the whole veteran family. We do budget counseling, we do life coaching, we do therapeutic recreation, adaptive sports, trying to get them back into a supportive and self-sufficient lifestyle. Our transitioning veterans today have it really hard. You don't hear about it on the news, you don't see it as much as it impacts them every day. We have our ups and downs, we've gone through a lot. We've gone through things and seen things that nobody else should ever see. But unfortunately it happens. All of the things that our program does is all of the things that I've actually went through myself. In our country, we deal with 22 suicides a day, which is just way too many. And we have 53 a day that try, and that's the number that we really need to focus on, and that's what our program does. We look at, let's get them to the next step, let's get them healthy, let's get them being a part of an active community, being a part of something bigger than themselves. It's what they did in the military, and that's what we do here. Our organization was started in 2012. To this date, we've helped over 3,000 veterans and their family members. That means we don't just help the veteran, we help the wife or the husband or the kids, whether it's education, housing, transportation, food, budget counseling, life coaching, therapeutic recreation. Over the last 5 years, Jersey Mike's has raised over $60,000 for Combat Veterans to Careers. 100% of that money goes back to our veterans and their families. That's why we're able to do the things that we are, because of Jersey Mike's and their franchisees. I want to thank Jersey Mike's from the bottom of my heart, all the franchisees, the things that you do to help these organizations across the country. People don't know how hard it is to get the support and to get the funding that is needed to keep these things going. In 2017, Combat Veterans to Careers opened up Restoring Hope Thrift Store. We saw a need when our veterans were coming back and they didn't have simple furniture or simple household items after they got out of the military. We reached out to our local community and asked for certain items, and we were inundated. The next thing we knew, we had so much stuff that one of our volunteers recommended us opening up a thrift store. We did that, and it's created jobs for our veterans to help supplement their income while they're in school or transitioning from education while they're waiting to find a job. It also helps provide furniture for our veterans as they're transitioning, so they can come in and get a voucher and they can pick out furniture for their homes. They can come in and they can find nice items that they don't have to come out of pocket to pay for. So it supplements their income and it creates a purpose for them and the camaraderie. They like to come here, and it's a fun place for them to work.
My name is Eric Canopa. I graduated high school early, out of 10th grade. I'm 17 years old. I went into the Marine Corps. Did 4 years, 2 tours, both to Afghanistan. I think pretty much any combat veteran experience is the same thing. I deal with it different ways, but it was, you had your fun times and then your times when it got really intense. One of the things I remember the most about, deployment and my time in the Marine Corps was the brotherhood and camaraderie. You won't find that. I couldn't find that anywhere else until I came across Combat Veterans Careers, and they really, to be able to share the same kind of jokes, the same kind of stories, other people would look at you like you have a third eye here. It's just nice to actually feel like I fit in somewhere again. Coming back home from my deployments and trying to adjust was really difficult. You're always on alert. You're always watching your surroundings. You never feel comfortable. It's your senses are heightened 24/7. That and having these guys that you've, dedicated your life to protect, and they dedicated their life to protect, not around you anymore. You really feel vulnerable, and I guess in a sense of you feel lonely. At that time in my life, the only family I had was the Marines surrounding me. They were my family. And really getting out, I felt like I was losing that family. When I met my wife, I was probably at the lowest point in my life, and it all came around probably 4 or 5 years after I got out of the Marine Corps. With her coming into my life, it was like I found, a piece of me again.
My name's Alexis Canopa. So when I met him, we didn't really know each other. When we became friends again, we were working at the prison together, and he was a mess. They had him on a whole bunch of different medications. Sometimes he would come in and he would have no sort of reaction to anything at all, no emotions. He would talk to me, but he really didn't talk to anyone else. Very up and down with his moods, and you could tell he was triggered by things easily, especially like slamming doors, loud noises.
With my wife coming into the picture, she was definitely trying to help me find a community, find like-minded individuals that I could share my stories with and kind of open up with, somebody that, a group of people that understand where I'm coming from. I'm not, I've never been to one of those legions or anything, but my wife came across Combat Veterans Careers, and really that was probably the turning point of my life, with the time I met my wife to the time I entered the program here at Combat Veterans Careers.
So I started reaching out, trying to find resources, and I came across Combat Veterans to Careers, and just getting him around the people, the like-minded individuals, seeing him communicate with David, and David telling him about his experience, it's almost like it gave him hope. And he likes to tell people that I was his saving grace, but I think this place, Combat Veterans to Careers, is really what it gave him, the community. It gave him his brotherhood that he was longing for since the Marine Corps.
After, sitting down with David Booth at Combat Veterans to Careers, we came up with a plan, and it was to, go through the Fire Academy. And that's where Combat Veterans Careers also helped me, with supplementing my income. I think within maybe a week, I was working at the store and waiting to start up at the thrift store, waiting to start up at the Fire Academy for first class to start. And, CVC paid for all of that, or Combat Veterans Career paid for all that. They paid, supplemented my income while I went through the school. That way my family wasn't, deprived of anything. Every step of the way, Combat Veterans to Careers was with me, from the financial aspect to the education to the emotional aspect. Coming here, sitting with like-minded individuals is probably the best therapy there is.
Life right now is, in my opinion, great, and Eric and I have had this conversation a lot. Everything can be going wonderful and everything can be great in our lives, and the PTSD, which causes the depression, the not sleeping, it can naturally cause someone to have a hard time finding happiness where there is happiness. So even though we have really good days, there's usually bad moments in those good days, and being together and learning to communicate has really helped us not so much bring him out of those funks, but learn how to deal with it.
So now that everything's, been gone through, finished up the academy, still, you know, a part of the Combat Veterans to Careers community. I still have my bad days. I still have the tough times. I still deal with the issues every day. But this makes it easier, you know, this community, you know, it welcomes in, you know, since then, you know, I've gotten married, you know, I have a handsome little son running around here, you know, it's better days ahead than the darker days before. So with the contribution that Jersey Mike's gives during the month of giving, and really the support that they give in whole, really made it possible for Combat Veterans to Career to help me with everything that they've helped me with, and all the other veterans that are a part of this program. Without them, it'd make it hard. It'd make it hard to support all these veterans. I'd like to take a minute to thank Jersey Mike's and all the franchisees for making this huge impact and change of my life.
We just wanted to say thank you to Jersey Mike's and the other franchisees that give their endless support to Combat Veterans to Careers and our family and the other veterans that are a part of Combat Veterans to Careers. Say thank you.